joining me today. I'm doing a review and demo on the new Nars Luminous Weightless Foundation. I got this foundation 2 weeks ago. I was going to do my review on this before I did Glossier, but then I wanted to try it out and do a few different things with it over the weekend before I filmed this look for you guys, or this tutorial for you guys. But I cannot say enough good things about this foundation, you guys. I have two different colors, Syracuse and Tahoe. Right here, Syracuse and Tahoe. And my background in Nars, you guys already know, I love their products. And I used to use the Nars Sheer Glow maybe about 4 or 5 years ago, but for the last 2 or 3 years I haven't been able to use it because I started to notice that it would break apart like near my nose and my mouth, and it would sort of just separate, and my oily skin just wasn't working out with it anymore. Before, I used to use it in conjunction with my MAC primer and it was working, but then it stopped working. But I've always loved Nars products and I've always really believed in them, so I knew I wanted to try this out. And then I saw a few reviews on it and I was like, okay, this is the foundation, I have to have it. And I basically got this in. Nars did send this to me as well, but I mean, you guys know that I always tell you guys what's really up, and I'm not going to sugarcoat anything because I wouldn't tell you guys to go out and spend $48 on this foundation if it wasn't worth it. So let's talk about packaging really quickly. It comes in this frosted glass bottle. It's long, and this is the other Nars foundation. This is the Nars Sheer Glow, so this is a difference, as you guys can see. Ooh, a pretty big difference in color too. So totally different packaging, but I still like the matte cover that it's got. But this one to me looks a lot more luxurious than the original. And this looks to me like an Armani foundation or a Tom Ford, like something like that would be, would look like this. So I love the way it looks, and then it does have a pump, so I'm glad Nars realized after the last couple of foundations they did that a pump is pretty essential. What I really like about this packaging though is that it's frosted glass as opposed to shiny glass. It also makes it look really expensive, I feel. And what I really love about this pump is that this pump doesn't give you like a dollop of product. It doesn't just, you know, just waste a ton of product, which I really like. And I'm going to go ahead and show you guys in the demo, you know, what the texture and stuff is like also. But I'm obsessed with this pump because normally you would have to buy the pump separately for the Nars foundations, and they're pretty hard to get. So this retails for $48, so it's $3 or $4 more than the Sheer Matte and Sheer Glow. I believe those are $44. If not, they might be $45. I'll look it up. But it is more expensive than the other one. This is the foundation that's going to replace the Sheer Matte foundation in the Nars line right now. So they have Sheer Glow and Sheer Matte. And what this is it's called the All-Day Luminous Weightless Foundation. So in that sentence, there are 3 different claims that Nars is making. 1, that it's an all-day foundation. 2, that it's luminous. And 3, that it's weightless. And let me tell you, the longest I have worn this foundation for is 10 hours, and I noticed at the 5-hour mark that I was getting a little bit shiny. You guys know that I have oily skin, but shiny in a good way, like shiny in a healthy way, not to where I felt getting to blot. At around the 7-8 hour mark is where I felt like I had to blot my face. So that is pretty standard with me. Even my Makeup Forever is around that range. In terms of when I do have to like go and blot, because oily skin in general is pretty difficult to take care of, if you guys know what I mean. This one is a formula that they say, you know, can be for any skin type, but I find that it's the best for oily skin as opposed to dry skin. Reason being, I feel like, I told you guys previously, the last couple of months, that my skin got really dry in certain areas, like my forehead, around my nose, etc. And there are some dry patches, even though I've been trying to work on them with different products. A few of them still do remain. And I find that this formula does cling to those areas and draw a little bit of attention to it. But, I mean, it's nothing too big just because my skin for the most part is oily, so it feels great. Also, this formula is unlike anything I've ever used in my entire life. It's amazing, you guys. Reason being, this is the thinnest, most sheer sort of feeling foundation. It feels like a serum, and it glides in your skin like it's water and something else in it too. It doesn't really feel exactly like water, but it definitely has more to it, obviously. But it gives you a lot of coverage. So the coverage that I have on my face right now is from this foundation. I don't have any concealer on my actual face. I have it under my eyes, but definitely not on my face. And I think this coverage is flawless. Let me show you guys what I'm talking about. Okay, so that is the foundation. You guys can see how thin it is. Boom. Done. Disappeared. Is that not insane? Like, I think that is just crazy. It is such an interesting consistency because it literally is the thinnest thing ever, giving you amazing coverage somehow. And literally one pump is like enough for your entire face. And when I talk about this pump, like this pump does not dispense much, as you guys saw. And that's enough for your entire face, which, you know, to me, like I've been hearing a lot about that and I was really unsure about that. But I will say I use a lot less foundation on my face than anyone that I know. Like, even with my Makeup Forever Matte Velvet Plus, so that foundation lasts me a year, and it's 1 ounce like every other foundation. But if you guys go through a ton of foundation, then you might feel like this one pump is not enough, but I really think it is. So Nars says the best way to apply it is with your finger starting in the middle, working your way outwards. I mean, that gives you great coverage. It looks amazing, but I feel like I actually use more product when I use my fingers than when I use a brush. So just to be sure, I tried out a few different brushes, but my favorite one was with the F80. And I felt like one pump was actually the perfect amount when used with this brush. When I use my fingers, I need 1.5 pumps. And I don't know how, I guess maybe my fingers soak up more product than the brush does. But you do have to move pretty quick because it does dry really quickly. So don't think you can do like, you know, a blob here, a blob here, a blob here, and then start in different areas. I just like, I put it on my hand, keep dipping it, and keep working on it. But I love how this looks. This has a very matte texture. It has a velvety texture. You guys can kind of see that. Like, I'm looking at it in a mirror, so I keep looking at it. But it goes on and it dries pretty matte to me. I wouldn't say super, super luminous, but definitely much more luminous than my matte foundations that I normally use that actually clean, but they're matte. Like my Matte Velvet Plus and the Studio Fix Fluid. Those are matte foundations. This to me is a velvet texture. But it is definitely considered very luminous to anybody who has oily skin who is used to using matte formula. So it is different in that sense. But when I think of luminous, I think of like the Sheer Glow foundation or the Armani Luminous Silk, stuff like that. But it's not like that. Like what I've got on right now is what it looks like. I have powdered a bit, but what I like is that I can still sort of see the luminosity through. Like I can see it on my nose. And I just put this on 10 minutes ago, but this is not an oily shine. This is just the luminosity of the actual foundation. And what I was really pleasantly surprised with this foundation is that I find that since I have pigmented skin around my chin and my forehead, the reason for why I love the Makeup Forever Matte Velvet Plus is because since it's so thick, or thicker than this for sure, it didn't go gray on my darker areas of my skin. And all the lighter coverage foundations that I've ever used in my life that have that sort of like silky texture when you put it on go immediately gray over any darker area because they don't have that sort of coverage. With this foundation, even though it has that super silky feel when you're putting this on it, I mean, it just feels so, I think silky is the best way to explain it because it just glides. It like really, really glides. It doesn't get patchy in any area. So I feel like even with that sort of texture, which in my experience has not been good, it doesn't make me go dark in any area. Also, in terms of the color range, I heard a lot about how this color range is very different than the Sheer Matte and Sheer Glow, so whatever color you are in there is probably not going to be what you are here. And what I realized is that I've always sort of been in between Syracuse and Tahoe I think is more for like the summertime when I'm a little bit darker and things of that nature, but even Syracuse in the Sheer Glow was a bit too light and it would have that sort of gray cast. However, I am Syracuse in this one. That's what I've got on my face right now. I haven't mixed it with anything else, and that gives me the coverage that I like, and it doesn't go gray. I think that Tahoe could also work because I think Tahoe in this is actually a bit lighter in color than the Sheer Glow. If you guys wanted to see what I was holding up earlier is actually Tahoe, and look at how much darker that is. Yeah, this is a frosted glass bottle, so you're kind of not seeing the exact color, but I definitely think the Sheer Glow is a bit different, so I would get your color match. And also in this, though it's lighter, I think it's more yellow, which it is in the Sheer Glow also, and I think that's why Syracuse is a better match for me because it's much more neutral undertones. That works really, really well for me. So $48 for this, and I mean, I love the way it goes on. I feel like it doesn't really accentuate my giant pores that I have in this area also, and it really, really does stay on. This is my new favorite foundation. I've been using this every single day since I got it, and I'm so pleasantly surprised. Like 8 or 9 hours later, like yeah, you might want to blot a little bit here and there, but it hasn't gone anywhere and hasn't oxidized. So for everybody who has got oily skin, who knows that oxidization is a huge problem, for us, it does not happen. Be sure to check out my blog also over there. I am going to post some pictures of, not I'm going to, I have already at this point, posted some pictures of flash photography with this, and it photographed beautifully. Definitely go check out my demo right here, and then go check out the blog for all the pictures and some more product. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys half my face with my fingers and the other half of my face with my brush. I'm sorry, I think there's like a sunlight ray around here. Do you guys see that? I'm filming kind of at an odd hour, so that's why it's happening, but I'm trying to avoid it, so let's hope that all works out. Let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to go ahead and clip my hair back. So we've gotten that done. So here is my foundation. This is Syracuse, and you definitely want to make sure you do shake it. And then I'm going to go ahead and dispense 1 pump, which is that much. Can you guys see how runny that is? Super runny. Okay, so I'm just gonna take that much and rub that in. I love how natural this looks. This is amazing. It like goes straight in. And with my fingers, I don't mind doing it this way. I just prefer a brush because I don't like to get my fingers dirty while I'm doing my makeup. But it's a really slippery formula, but not in an oily way. It's really interesting because as it slips and slides across your face, you'll sort of notice that it should feel oily, because I feel like foundations that slip that well usually do feel really oily, but it's not. And this is an oil-free formula, I'm pretty positive. It doesn't say oil-free, but I am going to look that up because I thought that it was. Okay, so this is what I've still got left on my hand. As you guys can see, I literally used like nothing. And with this, I'm going to go ahead and do the other side of my face. This is the Sigma F80. And there you have it. So I always feel like my fingers end up picking up more than this brush, which is surprising because I feel like most brushes pick up more. So normally if I was using just that 1 pump with this brush, I feel like my entire face would be done. But since I use my fingers in one half and I use the brush in the other, it's not done. So I'm going to go ahead and take out just a tiny bit more. Like literally that much. Just to go back over my nose and the area that I have large pores. Okay, so I'm gonna zoom you guys in so you guys can see what that looks like. I feel like it looks really natural. It has soaked on in for sure really, really well in my opinion. And I like that I don't think that my chin area looks really gray at all. If you look at my forehead, I feel like that looks really good too. I do have some dry patches around my nose a little bit, and I do feel like that you guys can probably see a bit. So as I mentioned previously, it does tend to stick to patchier areas of your skin if you're suffering from dryness. But overall, I absolutely love this. And look at the coverage. This is amazing coverage. I mean, the formula literally feels like water, so coverage like this is super unexpected for a formula that thin. I'm going to go ahead and finish up my face, put on some concealer, etc., and come back and we will chat a little bit more. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. Be sure to check out my blog to see pictures of flash photography and me wearing this foundation. And if you guys have any questions, post down below. I'll definitely get back to you guys. Talk to you guys very soon. Bye.